Hello and welcome to episode 14 of our Aston Martin Save. Now, we've had some upgrades on the car, we've had some upgrades in the factory as well, so let's have a quick look at them first and foremost. If we have a look at the warehouse, it has been the front wing development that has come through. We've got the new parts manufactured, so they are on the car for this weekend. As we can see, it is an improvement from the wing before, moving us up to 17th on top speed and acceleration, which might be important at Spa this weekend. Meanwhile, in the facilities area of the team, we've developed the boardroom. That's going to be upgraded because the board weren't too happy that we're down in 8th position in the constructors, and also they're getting a bit miserable because it needed refurbishing. So I thought, you know what, we'll buy them some new office chairs and that might just make them a little bit more happy with me. The wind tunnel's upgrading in a few more days, and the CFD simulator has been upgraded as well. So that's all the upgrades. We have got a bit of driver scouting going on as well. We've got two new scouts, so Valtteri Bottas and Pierre Gasly are the two that we're scouting. Both would be significant improvements on what we've got, especially in Lance Stroll's sort of area. Sebastian Vettel has made too many mistakes this season. He is retiring in real life at the end of this season, so it might be best for a clean break for both. So that could be our driver lineup next season. We've got a lot of options, a lot of people open for negotiations. Danny Ricciardo, Lando Norris even might fancy a trip to Aston Martin. So a lot to be positive about in those two areas. Let's have a look at the race prep. And the race preparation is as follows. It's the Spa International Circuit down in Belgium. 44 laps around this circuit. Changeable weather conditions. We've seen a lot of changeable weather in previous races in real life. Circuit map, as you can see there. Sections by speed, and the car attributes for this circuit. Again, I'm not saying that any track particularly does suit us, but this one, top speed and acceleration, we have improved a little bit with that front wing upgrade, so we might see a little bit of an improvement. The expected strategy is a one-stop medium onto the hard compounder tyre, and the compound performance there, as we can see. So I'm going to get stuck into practice now, get the car set up, and we'll see you in Q1.
Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome to Spa-Francorchamps. This circuit was built in 1921, and even though its length was halved in 1979, the Belgian Grand Prix is still one of the longest, fastest, and most magical races on the F1 calendar. Spa-Francorchamps is famous for its long straights and fast corners. Drag efficiency will make all the difference here as drivers zoom through the famous sequence of Eau Rouge leading up into Raidillon. But a twisty middle sector keeps things tricky down on the track. The season is about halfway through, and it makes me wonder what else is in store for the teams. Well, there's only one way to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Formula One.
Now you join us on our final flying lap in Q1. We went out a little bit early because we had a little bit of a scare with the weather on the right hand side. About 2 minutes ago it said there was going to be 100% downpour in 2 minutes. So we thought, right, we'll get both our guys out and really push, and hopefully the other guys will get stuck in the wet weather, but it's not quite happened. As you can see, this circuit is not one that suits us. There is a big difference between us and the other cars. I mean, Lando Norris was 6/10 off Lando Norris, which is massively disappointing. But we are riding on board with Lance Stroll at this moment in time, as we are in automatic mode with him. We wanted to give a little bit extra, maybe just try and manually manage it to see if we could get a better lap time out of him. But at this moment in time, it doesn't appear that that's working, although he's yellow through the first sector, which is no good at all. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel, fortunately, is green through the first sector, and Sebastian Vettel is powering on now round this circuit. The little bendy section in the middle really suits us a little bit more than the rest of the track, I would suggest. The long high speed straights and just doesn't seem to suit our car. Despite the upgrades, it is very much small steps at this moment in time, not large upgrades. It's allowing us to get anywhere near the rest of the field. I do believe we have got a little bit of a better race car than a qualifying car, but unfortunately, as we see Sebastian Vettel, we'll put him on to 2 times speed. As we put Sebastian Vettel onto this, I don't know if it's going to suit us. DRS is quite powerful around here. Maybe that'll drag it in. We've got to make a positive start in this race. Possibly some weather changes, some disruption in the strategy might help us if we react quickly and better than other teams. But Sebastian Vettel's green in both first and second sectors. He comes round the final chicane, bus stop chicane, up to the start finish line. Yes, we know we need to refuel, it's not a problem. And he crosses the line and takes about 2 tenths off. Not massively better. Lance Stroll also doesn't really improve. Be interesting to see if the Williams cars can do any better. We'll fast forward now, and they certainly can. Alex Albon in that Williams is doing a much better job of lately than our two guys, Stroll and Vettel. 17th and 18th and 19th. You wouldn't have predicted that before the qualifying session. Let's get into Sunday. So nothing special on the strategies. We're not even going to split them. We're going to just put them both on the standard medium to hard strategy. Then we'll look to change it if anything happens. We haven't got any bad weather forecast for the Sunday race either, which is disappointing again. So this may be a very quick episode depending on how we get involved in the race. But let's get to the start now. Hopefully a positive start, and let's get dragged along by some DRS.
Bit of a cloudy day for the race, but the atmosphere, as ever, is electric. And there's Sebastian Vettel. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. There's Lance Stroll, down the grid. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up. And we're just moments away now. Get ready, it's the Belgian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go indeed. We will ride on board with Sebastian Vettel, who's had a cracking start, already up to P15. Sebastian Vettel, great work. Lance Stroll is also now tucked up behind that Williams. The Williams that is starting on the soft compound tyre. We've got a few guys on the soft compounds now. In practice, we weren't fantastic on the soft compound tyre, so our car seems to suit the harder compounds better, I would say. But a good start from Sebastian Vettel, and hopefully he can keep up with the guys just in front of him. He's got an Alpha Tauri Williams and another Alpha Tauri in front of him. Meanwhile, at the front, Charles Leclerc is battling Sergio Perez, and Sergio Perez is certainly keeping his nose in there at this moment in time. Carlos Sainz running in third place, and then Max Verstappen lurking just behind. Valtteri Bottas, a man who we are looking at signing and definitely scouting at this moment in time, running P5. Alonso P6, Magnussen in 7th, Guan Yu Zhou, Lando Norris further back in P9. Esteban Ocon makes up the top 10, but Sebastian Vettel, P15 at this moment in time. He's got to stick with the cars in front. Lance Stroll's behind Alexander Albon. He will certainly stick with him.
Closer look.
Lap 2, and Sebastian Vettel is doing his utmost to try and keep up with this Alpha Tauri, but the gap is already at 1.7 seconds. Yuki Tsunoda, on the other hand, the first Alpha Tauri, he's obviously ran wide out inside the side. Guan Yu Zhou's also done that so far in this Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel is doing his utmost to chase up to Pierre Gasly, breathing a faster car on faster tyres. Not looking so positive. Meanwhile, behind, something that is looking rather positive is the fact that Lance Stroll has got the Williams and he has got DRS now, and we are going to be putting on the overtake up this next section. And I think that could be the point where we get him, and then hopefully he can put a Williams between himself and that Mercedes, and then try and chase up towards Sebastian Vettel. He's already overtaken him on the way up there, and now has he got DRS as well? He has got DRS, and the Williams hasn't, and that's going to hopefully hold Lewis Hamilton up. Lewis Hamilton running down in P16 at this moment in time. But Lance Stroll, fantastic job there, overtaking and catching up to Sebastian Vettel. Meanwhile, Sebastian Vettel still running in P13. Lofty heights for the two Aston Martins at this moment in time, it must be said. Again, both on this medium tester tyre. And we're not pushing the tyres too much at this moment in time. There's been a couple of accidents so far this Grand Prix, so I'm hoping that we can defend. And hopefully these soft compound runners, maybe we get the overcut on them, who knows. But lap 3, 13th and 14th, not too bad at all.
Here's the replay.
Pays me to say, lovely move from Lewis Hamilton on the inside of Lance Stroll. He's in the Mercedes on the soft compounded tyre. Interestingly, by the time we sort of got to the DRS detection zone, Lewis Hamilton had nearly pulled out a second from that corner alone. Unbelievable stuff.
Now watch this.
Next lap, Lewis Hamilton, same move, same corner. This time though, round the outside of Sebastian Vettel. We can't defend against this Mercedes. It's very, very difficult. Although Sebastian did put up much better of a fight than Lance Stroll did, and then Lewis Hamilton did move across a little bit there, which we're not too impressed with. Our guys obviously more disappointed in the garage, but really we're not in that fight at all with Lewis Hamilton. But it has given Sebastian Vettel a bit of DRS up the next straight. Lance Stroll is defending with all his might against these cars behind him. We can see in the background Sebastian Vettel having a little look at him, but can't quite get him. Lance Stroll is now going to have to go back onto neutral ERS mode. But lap 5, we have a look at the front car. Last signs of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen all in the hunt for this win, along with Sergio Perez, who's now just dropping a little bit further back. But Max Verstappen right in amongst it against these two Ferraris. Lap 7, looks like we've had a spin, and unfortunately, it looks like it's Lance Stroll who's going to get overtaken by the Williams. But we'll have a look at this spin. First and foremost, it's Yuki Tsunoda, who's had a bad old race, ran wide, and then obviously got a bit too keen on the throttle early doors out of that first corner out of turn 1. But now we look at Lance Stroll once again having to defend against these guys behind him. Lewis Hamilton has overtaken Sebastian Vettel and is now long into the distance. Lance Stroll is doing a fantastic job at keeping these guys behind him up until this point. He's also on the medium and compounded tyre. These guys' tyres are going to fall off the cliff before Lance's. And Lance, he's not pushing on the tyres. He's using a bit of ERS here and there to defend. That's fair enough. But what he isn't doing is wasting his tyres or fuel. We've been a bit more conservative on tyres because that has come to haunt us in a few previous Grand Prix. But Lance Stroll doing a fantastic job so far, and all he's doing is building a bigger gap for Sebastian Vettel in P14 to pit into when he finally does. Meanwhile, at the front we have Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Verstappen and Perez, and it's a real ding-dong battle. We're going to ride on board, I think, with Max Verstappen at this moment in time. He's got two Ferraris in front of him, one right, one left. Can he get round him into the bus stop chicane? Late on the brakes, but can't quite get him. We'll have a look up the next DRS stretch, see if he can make a move, and then we'll fast forward a little bit further on. But up there again, Valtteri Bottas doing a fantastic job. Kevin Magnussen not too far behind, and Fernando Alonso. Look at this, Max Verstappen on that soft compounded tyre, on different strategies to the two Ferraris. Will run with him up into turn 3 and 4. He has got the DRS. Will he be able to do anything? We know how quick that Red Bull can be from real life at this moment in time. It looks like Max Verstappen is going to win the World Championship at some point in the near future. Maybe even this weekend or last weekend in Japan. He might have already won it for all I know. But there we go. And Max Verstappen just can't quite get the two Ferraris. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll once again got a bit of defending to do. We'll switch into defend. We are having to micromanage this a little bit more than we usually do, but he is starting to pull a gap on Alexander Albon, who I'm guessing he's battling with Guan Yu Zhou in that Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo really shouldn't be back there, but Lance Stroll, could he break that DRS train? We're just going to come back on lap 10 to praise Lance Stroll. We've not always been the most praiseful, is that even a word? Most complimentary as our two drivers this season. We've had some errors, but this race in particular, look, let's not beat away from it. We're nowhere near getting points. Unless something magic happens, I can't see us getting points. But Lance Stroll is doing a fantastic job. Fair enough, it's a Williams. He's got a McLaren, an Alfa Romeo and an AlphaTauri behind him as well, and he's managing without DRS to keep these guys behind. He's managing to keep Albon at bay, who's probably slowing Danny Ricciardo up a little bit as well. But we've used defend, we have micromanaged him a little bit more, but Lance Stroll doing a fantastic job here on lap 10, lap 11. Sebastian Vettel, it's eking out this gap for him. He's now 5 seconds down the road, Sebastian Vettel. This could be the chance for Alexander Albon. Is he going to have a go at him? We'll ride on the... This is all that Lance Stroll's been looking at really through his mirrors. He's just seen this Williams of Alexander Albon, who may be pushing for a seat with us, with how well he's outperforming his teammate, although it is Nicholas Latifi, doing very, very well at this moment in time. But Lance Stroll, lap 11, just coming onto that, doing a fantastic job of keeping these cars behind. And if we have a look at tyre wear, 64% for Albon. The guys at the back really struggling with tyre wear. These soft compounded tyres should start dropping off at any moment, as we will switch to defend once again. He's a little bit further back this time, Alexander Albon. Looks like we've got somebody else on the track lock up, and it is Guan Yu Zhou. Zhou and Tsunoda not having a fantastic race at all. Maybe a bit of frustration that from Guan Yu Zhou, as it's not been his race. It's not cost him too much time, but still not fantastic. And the Alfa Romeo pit crew overreacting slightly, but it's not been fantastic. Finally, on lap 12, Lance Stroll has got overtaken, but it wasn't the Williams. Danny Ricciardo in that McLaren certainly has the pace to get past us, but he did overtake us before the DRS detection line. Can Lance Stroll, with DRS, look to get past him? He's right up the gearbox of Danny Ricciardo, but it looks like he's not going to manage to get past him. But hopefully he can latch onto this DRS for a little bit now, and it'll tow him along. But we just hope that Danny Ricciardo doesn't get after Sebastian Vettel. Lap 13, a lot of pit stops for other teams, and maybe this will suit us a little bit. Kevin Magnussen came in, Lewis Hamilton came in, Alexander Albon in. Alexander Albon might as well pack it in now. Lewis Hamilton now is back behind Lance Stroll, but he's already made his pit stop. But Lance Stroll is holding on to the back of Danny Ricciardo, but he has got a very quick Mercedes-Benz looking to overtake him now as we're watching live into turn 3 and 4. And Lance Stroll defending hard against Lewis Hamilton. That might not be the wisest thing to do, and Lewis Hamilton gets past him, and Lewis Hamilton, I'm sure, will be attacking Danny Ricciardo in the not so distant future. Lance Stroll getting a little bit frustrated there on the radio, which we can understand, but Sebastian Vettel is under pressure from Kevin Magnussen as well. Neck and neck, but Sebastian Vettel looks like he's got Kevin Magnussen covered off at this moment in time. Lap 16, Max Verstappen spinning out on turn 1. Not fatal for his race, but not fantastic. It has dropped him back quite a distance to the guys behind him. Meanwhile, back in our race, Sebastian Vettel has now lost DRS to Kevin Magnussen in P12. Still got his pit stop to make, of course. Lance Stroll having a pretty lonely race now as well, down in P16. Right, lap 20, Lance Stroll is in for his pit stop. We pulled him in first. Lance Stroll's not really in a race at this moment in time. He's running on his own. He's done well to maintain the tyres for as long as he has. The reason we've let Sebastian Vettel out is for this exact reason. We reckon he might just get one lap of DRS to just drag him along for that little bit longer. Hopefully, up this straight here, he'll get this DRS. He'll just drag him on for a little bit. He'll get a better lap time in, and then Sebastian Vettel will now come on to the hard compound tyre on this next lap. And now Lance is on the hards for the rest of this Grand Prix. Where is Lance filtered out? He's filtered out in P19. But he's only half a second behind Yuki Tsunoda, and he's got a bit of work to do to get to Alexander Albon. But remember, he will have much fresher tyres later on in the race. Alex Albon's tyres already down on 87%. So Lance Stroll, we would expect to be very much in the running, but he's got a very fast Alpha Tower in front of him as well. Meanwhile, we'll have a little look if we fast forward. We'll fast forward until Sebastian comes in for his pit stop. He should be entering the pit once he gets down here, but he has got Mick Schumacher battling him, but it's not really relevant at this moment in time. He's coming in this lap, which he is doing now, as we can see, coming in for his one and only pit stop. Lance Stroll's gearbox showing a little bit of wear. We knew of that before the Grand Prix. Chose not to make we put a different one in, but still it was down on sort of 45% wear, so that's going to be coming in, probably not usable, and we'll have to get a new gearbox manufactured now. Where is Sebastian Vettel going to filter out? He's lost a position to Danny Ricciardo, who's already pit. But he is going to come out just behind him. If we have a look at that interval, what we got, 1.6 seconds, 1.2. So the job for Sebastian Vettel is to chase after Danny Ricciardo, and the job for Lance Stroll is to get after Alexander Albon. Meanwhile, at the front, Charles Leclerc is still leading. I'm guessing he's not made his pit stop yet. Sainz, Perez and Verstappen are the top three once Leclerc comes in for his pit stop. Valtteri Bottas again, P6, running very, very well. Would it be an episode without a Sebastian Vettel crash? He says he's crashed. What's happened? I saw him locked up. Let's see what happened here. He locked up the front right. Oh my God. Sebastian Vettel and crashing is just the norm of this series. It has brought out a yellow flag. I was just about to say to you, I was just about to say to you that P15 was absolutely nailed on for Sebastian Vettel today. He's got now 16 laps to do. The one we were looking at with Lance Stroll, he's got to overtake Alexander Albon. He's certainly going to do that, but Sebastian Vettel is going to have to pit, and he's got a front wing change he's got to make as well. Lap 28, I am sick to death of Sebastian Vettel spinning. Here we go then, Sebastian Vettel, lap 29 in the pits, front wing change. And there is the front wing change, almost by magic. Lance Stroll is now going to be attacking Alexander Albon. I can't even comment on Sebastian Vettel. I'm getting that sick of him spinning. The thing with Sebastian Vettel is it's like going on a date with a very attractive girl. It's like going on a date with Mila Kunis or something like that. She's laughing, she's smiling, you think you're doing really well, and then she texts you when you get home saying, "I'm sorry, it's not for me." That's the sort of levels of disappointment that I'm getting with Sebastian Vettel at this moment in time. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll can't get past this Williams, and another day on which I felt we were going to be in for sort of P15, P14, which is improvement, and I know it's not any sort of points, but it's at least optimism and a bit of motivation to keep working hard. We just keep getting these silly little errors, and Sebastian Vettel, a man of his experience, shouldn't be making them. We'll come back when Lance Stroll finally gets past Alexander Albon. Shall we sack them both? Shall we sack them both? Lance Stroll has got past Alexander Albon, whoop-de-doo, everything. We're looking alright for P16. And what does he do? He decides to do this. We'll have another look at it because it was that bad. Here we go. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I mean, if he'd have gone into wall, that could have been a little bit worse. I'm just at a total loss with these two because it's not as though the car setup is not what they want either. I think Sebastian Vettel were near on 100%. I think Lance Stroll was somewhere in the mid-90s. The car setup's fine. Everything's looking pretty alright. Lance Stroll weren't even pushing when he did that. And neither was Sebastian Vettel. So I'm at a loss as to why we continue to make these silly, silly errors. Lap 35, we might as well have a look at the front. Max Verstappen very much under attack from Carlos Sainz, and then Charles Leclerc. He's not far behind him either. Something to be aware of. But then comes Sergio Perez, then there's a big gap to Valtteri Bottas. So it's between these four for the top three places. Going to be interesting to see who comes out on top. I mean, Sebastian Vettel, I could even retire at car now. To be fair, he has got past Guan Yu Zhou. Lance Stroll has now dropped back, and it's looking like 17th and 18th. And on the next lap, look what happens. Lance Stroll, bang, that's two front wings damaged within...
There, we see the crash.
I'm this guy. I'm the guy in the middle here. I am this guy in the middle. Just sat there, shaking my head, thinking, what on earth are we doing?
Watch this.
I mean, it could be worse. We could be a Ferrari. He's just spun. He's very much at the front, on for a podium place. Charles Leclerc spinning out, but has managed to recover. He's still P2. He's not lost too much. Lance Stroll was retired. And as we come on to the final couple of laps, Sebastian Vettel
this is last lap.
Is under attack from Guan Yu Zhou. Will he be able, for this last lap, to keep the Alfa Romeo at bay? We might as well follow around because this is the only bit of action we're going to see now. Push on the fuel, push on everything. Let's go, Sebastian. Give me something. Give me hope for the next Grand Prix that we can overtake this Alfa Romeo. We're going to ride very much on board with Sebastian Vettel. Looking left, looking right. He's got fully RS deployed. He's got DRS and he still cannot get past this blooming Alfa Romeo who's had a shocking race. And that is basically all she wrote. Unless he can somehow make a move down the sort of final straight into the bus stop chicane, I'm not too sure. We'll keep riding on board with him. He's all over the back of Guan Yu Zhou. Don't write off a spin either because we know that could happen quite easy. Carlos Sainz looks like he's got this race wrapped up at the front. It's another good points haul for McLaren and Haas. Magnussen and Lando Norris doing particularly well in this race. Sebastian Vettel, I thought Aston Martin would be quite a decent challenge, but at this moment in time we cannot get this car upgraded quick enough to get us anywhere near points this season. It's going to be a long old goal. As we come into the mid-season break, I think we've got to seriously have a look at both drivers because I'm getting sick to death of watching these two. and it's not been good at all. Is he going to make a move into the bus stop chicane? Here comes Sebastian Vettel. Can he get past Guan Yu Zhou for one little moment of glory? He doesn't even try it, my friends. He doesn't even try it. Guan Yu Zhou come round that final corner, and that'll be all she wrote. P18, the only car we beat on the day, is Nicholas Latifi's Williams. What else is there to say?
Race full of struggle.
Yes, it was a struggle, Sebastian, because you smashed it into a wall again. And the classification is as follows. Carlos Sainz wins from Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez in third, taking the final podium spot, Max Verstappen in fourth, Bottas fifth, Lando Norris sixth, Magnussen seventh, Alonso eighth, George Russell ninth, and Esteban Ocon making up the top 10. As we can see down the bottom, we retired Lance Stroll after just being totally disappointed with him, and Sebastian Vettel finishes P18 above Nicholas Latifi. If we have a look at the drivers, Charles Leclerc is still leading the championship from Carlos Sainz now in P2, 249 points. Max Verstappen in third on 249, level pegging with Carlos Sainz. A long way to go in this championship season, but it is quite tight, which is nice to see. Constructors-wise, Haas and McLaren both score points. We're the only team that has scored points as well, with them down the bottom. Williams yet to score a point. If we lose to Williams, I think it might be time to resign. Thank you so much for watching that, and I hope to see you on the next one. This car's got to get better at some point. We'll keep working. See you later.